There is a way of thinking about Hester Panim that might be useful for understanding our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Hester Panim is whenever something is happening that seems not good. So it seems as though the Ribono Shel Olam is doing something that is not good, and he refers to that as Ve'anochi haster astir panai bayomahu. The Kadosh Baruch Hu hides his face. So when something good happens, so we refer to it as ha'oras panim, or the ma'or, the light of Hashem's countenance. And when something not to our liking happens, so then we refer to it as hester panim. And there can be not only for an individual, for a person, moments or times in his life when he's subject to hester panim, but there could also be for Klal Yisrael a period of hester panim. We might refer to the Holocaust as a period of hester panim. So I have an interesting way of thinking about it, and it might be useful for you. You'll think about it also. In the legal world, when somebody is accused of doing something wrong, there is an idea of bringing a character witness. A character witness is somebody who testifies, tells stories about the person who's being accused that shows the judge, or if there's a jury, that the way the person is, the type of person that the accused is not somebody who would do the crime that he is charged with. So a character witness is not just somebody who walks in and says that the accused is a good person, but he tells stories. And those stories characterize the person. There's many stories about the Chafetz Chaim, and when the Chafetz Chaim was introduced to the court, so they told all sorts of stories about the Chafetz Chaim. And the judge turned to the lawyer who was presenting these stories, and he said, "Do you really believe all of these stories about this man?" And the attorney turned to the judge and he said, "I don't know, but they're not telling those kind of stories about you and me. It's a different kind of story." So the idea of a character witness is it doesn't relate to the specific incident that is being examined. It relates more generally to the accused, and it speaks to the character of the accused. So if you want to think about He'aras Panim, when Hashem is gracing us, then we point to a specific thing that he did, and we refer to how great Hashem is because he saved me from this, he helped me with that, he took care of this, he brought together this couple, he brought a shidduch, he brought a new child. So when there's He'aras Panim, we're pointing to a specific event, and we're speaking about Hashem as having brought about this wonderful event. When we talk about Hester Panim, then the emphasis is on the character witness. So it's the particular event or the particular incident that we're looking at, that we can't prove that it's good. But we can bring character witnesses. So in the case of the Ribono Shel Olam, the character witness goes back all the way to Yetzias Mitzrayim. It goes back to the Avos. It goes back to the Nisim of Beis Hamikdash. We bring a character witness because we want to paint the Ribono Shel Olam in a particular way so that we can think about the Ribono Shel Olam, even though the incident that's happening is not to our liking. So, for example, if a person focuses on the fact that he's about to eat an apple, and he focuses on you, Hashem, are borei peri ha'etz. Same thing with a shahakol, with all of the brachos. Whenever a person considers the amazing weather, somebody said to me, "Isn't it amazing that there was a couple of weeks that were brutally, brutally hot, and almost overnight it became so pleasant. Look at what the Ribono Shel Olam did." And by the way, that's not a bad character witness. Chazal tell us that the reason why the Pasuk says that you have to be careful to make sure that Pesach always comes out in the Chodesh HaAviv, it comes out in the spring, because it's a time that is pleasant for traveling, which means that Klal Yisrael would have been very happy to leave Mitzrayim, even if it was a little bit damp underfoot. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu made sure that it would also be at a time that it was pleasant outside, a pleasant time for traveling. So when we think about it, we're supposed to focus on that feature. And by the way, we structure our entire calendar so as to make sure that Pesach always comes out in the Chodesh HaAviv for this reason, so that we can focus on his kindness. See, but yeah, that was 3,300 years ago. It's 3,300 years ago, but it's a character witness. The fact that it was pleasant to go is a character witness about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that is what we need to turn to when there's something that's happening in our lives, or we're coming to refresh the relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or we're thinking about tragedies that have happened to individuals, Rahman al-Litzlan, to Klal Yisrael, Rahman al-Litzlan, like, for example, the Holocaust. So what we're doing is we have to focus more on the character witness than on the specific event. So that's something that every situation calls differently. So if you want to come to Elul, or as I said, if you want to consider all of the various events in your life or in the lives of Klal Yisrael, you'll sometimes be able to say thank you for that which HaKadosh Baruch Hu did. Wow, what a tremendous chesed that he did this. And sometimes you're going to bring in the character witness. Look at how many billions of cells in my body are being taken care of, are being nourished at every moment. Look how many billions of people HaKadosh Baruch Hu is providing for. Look how complex the Bria is. Look at the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Zonu Mefarnes Lakol. Look at this apple. So again, that doesn't speak to the specifics of the event. It speaks to the character witness. And from there we can conclude that we can rely on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who is the Hatov v'Hameti. That what we presently are looking at, which doesn't look very good, is in fact good. Well, how it doesn't look good, right? But bring in the character witness, and you'll start looking at it a little bit differently. And that's why, by the way, the ones who are opposed to Torah and mitzvos, the ones who are the enemies of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, are always trying to undermine the miracles of the past. They're always trying to undermine, because what they're doing is they're saying, what I see right now, the child Rahman al-Litzlan was taken away, or this one, somebody didn't seem to deserve it. And when you try to bring the character witness, they say, no, that didn't happen. That's just a legend. That's just a this. And that didn't really happen the way it's described. And what are they doing? Why are they interested in undermining those events? The answer is because they understand that there's such a thing as a character witness. Every court in the world understands that there's such a thing as a character witness. And they don't want you to be able to bring a character witness. They want to be able to focus on the present event that is not to their liking, and maybe it's to nobody's liking. And they want to focus on that, so to say something negative about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that was really what happened with the Meraglim. The Meraglim did report something untrue about Eretz Yisrael. Fortified cities, there were giants, this, that, whatever. But what they were not willing to do, they were not willing to let Kalev and Yoshua and Moshe Rabbeinu, they were not willing to let them introduce character witnesses. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has been taking care of us from the minute that we have been a people. And here he took us out of Mitzrayim with all of these nisim and niflos. So he has credibility. So he'll take care of us now as well. But that's what they didn't want to let anyone else do, because everyone who hates the Ribono Shel Olam is always out to make sure that you focus on what's not right now, or on the Holocaust, or whatever it is that they're focusing on that is not to their liking. And don't you dare bring me a character witness. I'll undermine the character witness. Yeah, but the character witness is telling stories that they're not telling about you and me. If the stories are made up, the stories aren't true. Yeah, but there's a lot of people telling these stories, about this character, about the Ribono Shel Olam. And so I just thought it might be useful to, when you're preparing for this meeting with the Ribono Shel Olam, to be able to focus not only on the chasadim that you feel him doing b'chol eisu v'chol sha'ah, what you feel him doing with you now, but also to make sure that you invoke the character witness, which is why the Torah tells us that we have to every single day remind ourselves about the miracles, for example, of Yetzias Mitzrayim, the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the Torah at Har Sinai. Those are character witnesses, and it's extremely important because it's very easy to lose track of the character witnesses, and everything about the Western world tries to undermine our reliance on the character witnesses, and they focus only on the fact that something is happening in the world that is not to their liking. So this can be an aid to prepare yourself for this meeting, Haba Aleinu L'Tova, that to have the proper sense of who it is that you're meeting with.